What's good, my former nice people? It is podcast number 7 of Kindness Speaks. So glad you found us again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are excited to share with you these life-changing principles on kindness. Okay. Hope everybody had a great holiday break. I know I got a lot of rest, and it was sad not to have the whole family there, but we have to do what we have to do. We are in a pandemic, and it's not easing up. Folks don't want to wear their mask, and to me, it's just a sign of kindness to put on a mask, even if you know that you don't have it or you've been being really diligent. It just shows the other person that you're thinking about them, and I think it's important that we acknowledge people, wear a mask, practice social distancing, wash our hands. And this just little small little mini commercial before we get started. How come people on the news, these news media outlets and social media, nobody's talking about improving our health to fight off the virus? Even, just like we would do to fight off the flu, the healthier we are, not only are we able to fight off potential catching the COVID-19 virus, but we can fight it off if we do get it and recover faster if we are in shape. We're eating better, we're drinking water, we're getting enough sleep, we're exercising. Now, I don't know about y'all. If y'all have been home and you know you need to exercise, and you haven't gotten some equipment. I know it's been selling out. Hopefully they got some more in stock now. Get some holiday sales. We need to get on that. We need to prioritize our self-care. Forgive me. I'm going to stop saying prioritize. See, everybody says that. We need to master our own individual self-care. We know what we need. We know when we are working at optimal, when we are clicking on all cylinders, when our mind is clear, when we're getting rest, when we feel good, our bodies feel good. We know what that feels like. We should want that for ourselves, not only, but in addition to taking care of ourselves so we can be the best version of ourselves, but also to fight off this disease that's flying around everywhere because not everybody's wearing a mask. Moving on. Like I said, it's podcast number 7. I'm excited to be at number 7. And now what I want to make sure we do is we're going to get started. Today's topic is part 3 to our selfishness, selflessness, and kindness series. So this is part number 3, and it's about true selflessness. What does that mean? We're gonna break that down. The points so I'm gonna just jump right into it. The power quote I want us to listen to, and some of us know it, but I think it applies to what we're talking about today. It is from C.S. Lewis, and it says, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less." Okay, let me say that one more time. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but is thinking of yourself less. There's a significant but subtle difference in there. It's subtle, but if you slow it down, you can catch how important it is that we don't think less of ourselves as an individual, but we don't prioritize and encapsulate our whole world being, and everything we do is 100% about us, about I say. It's about me, I. That's where we get in the problem. And that goes right into point number 1, is how to become truly selfless. Point number 1 is that we must eliminate being self-centered. Okay? It's like having a house. This is the example I use. It's like having a house full of stuff you don't use, but you refuse to give it away and donate it. We have things that people can take advantage of and use that we have more than enough. We don't even use this stuff. We haven't used it in years. But we keep it and we keep it and we store. And some of us mess around. Some of us might mess around. Now, it might not be physical stuff, but it might be financially, whatever. Some of us are doing great. Some of us that are listening to this are doing awesome. And you have income that is just overflowing and you're blessed. But for whatever reason, now I'm not talking about savings. I'm not talking about all that. We need to have savings, at least 3 to 6 months of savings. Dave Ramsey, I'm a Dave Ramsey disciple. We're trying to get there. But We need to see and take advantage of opportunities where we can donate. Now, donate means that you have what you need and you have more that you can donate and bless someone else that doesn't have anything. That's being self-centered when you have more than enough. Now, it's not being selfish or self-centered if you don't have enough. You cannot give what you do not have. That's not being selfish. But when you have more than enough, and some of my Bible believers, and y'all know the story that Jesus broke down the parable, the man who had barns full of grain and everything else. He said, no, I'm going to break down. He had more than enough. He said, I'm going to break these down. I'm going to build more, and then I'm going to sit on I'm going to sit on my investment. I'm going to sit on it. I'm not going to use it to bless others. I'm going to sit on it. And God and Jesus condemned that man. We don't want to get into that space. When we are selfish is when we only think of ourselves. We have more than enough, but we choose not to give. That's when we have to eliminate that. That's the issue. And see, if we really and this is a spiritual principle. As you give, you will get. But we don't think about it that way. Some of us still have this ghetto sparsity. I'm saying it wrong. Scarcity mindset. Now it's funny. I said it funny, but it's not funny because some of us are straight up selfish, and we grew up in the inner city, or not even inner city, wherever you grew up. But you have a scarcity ghetto mindset that if I give, that means less for me. But that's not the spiritual principle. The spiritual principle is as you give and bless others, you will also be blessed. That's where I'm trying. That's one of the main goals of Kindness Defined, of Kindness Speaks, this podcast, is to eliminate these false ideologies and lies that are not helpful. They are not helpful. They're not doing anything for us. We think we're secure, but we're really not. And that's where we get into problems, when we become self-centered instead of selfless. So point number one again is we have to eliminate being self-centered, where we have more than enough, but we choose not to give. That's being selfish. And we have to be selfless when we can bless people with things that we are not taking advantage of, or we have more than enough. Some of us have more than enough time. Some of us have more than enough resources. Some of us have experience in things and can help bless and help someone or a certain neighbor or community, whatever, with your skill set. And I'm going to get into this more. But we choose to hold it. Nothing grows when you hold it. Things grow when you give it. Things multiply when you give. Point number 2. To be selfless. True selflessness. Point number 2 is that we have to prioritize self-care. I keep saying it, and I gotta change my notes. Forget about prioritizing self-care. We've done that. Some of us aren't even at that level, but I'm stretching us even more. We have to master self-care. We have to know ourselves well enough to know when it's time to go, when we don't have enough, when we are mentally and emotionally exhausted, to say, you know what, I need to stop. I need to leave. I need to stop giving. It's being selfish if you continue to do things when your resources are at a low and you continue to give things that you don't. Because if your tank is low and you keep giving, that means your tank is going to get lower and lower and eventually be empty. But you choose not to stop. You choose not to master your self-care and know I need to stop. Because my attitude will change. I start getting rude and nasty, and because I'm cranky and I need to stop, but I don't want to because I want to shine. That's when you're being selfish. Yeah, that's when you're being selfish. But in order to be truly selfless, we have to master self-care. Again, see, this is some of y'all hearing this don't believe this. You really believe that if I'm giving everything I have, then that's selfless. That is backwards, and it's hurtful, and it's harmful to you and your family, those that care about you. When you have nothing left, you come home and you're empty. Fellas, husbands, you work all day long and you have nothing to give. You don't have time to sit and listen to your wife. You don't have time to sit and play with your kids. Nothing. That's a problem. You're not mastering self-care. And see, I believe the problem, a lot of us, you know who you are, you listen to this, is that we go to work, we do half a job, and then we want to stay long, See, that's the key. When you get to work, you need to work. And you need to kill it and do what you got to do and handle your business, what you're responsible for. So when it's time to go, you have peace leaving and going home. But when we are not mastering our self-care, is we feel like we have to continue to do for everybody else because maybe we're being lazy. Maybe we're not being as proactive and diligent and focused at work, because then we feel like, oh, when people ask us at the last minute, we can't say no because we haven't done what we're supposed to do earlier, and it gets into a big mess. Then we give out of our what should be saved for our friends, for our family, and those close to us. We give that away to work, to church, to community efforts, but the people closest to us suffer lack because we are not choosing to master our self-care so we can be our best self for them and for whoever else, for our friends and our families. We can be the best version of ourselves, but we have to know our limits. We have to say, you know what? I'm starting to get an attitude. It's time for me to go. I need to hang up this phone. I need to, whatever it is, when you need to stop. See, we have to know ourselves well enough, and we must focus and strive to give the best version of ourselves in the time and space that we do have. Point number 3, that we have to create these spaces to serve. Some of us are truly, want to be helpful, want to serve, want to be a blessing. But the problem is that we're unorganized. We're unorganized. We don't know what's going on our calendar. We don't have a planner. We don't use it. We don't fill it out. We don't, we kind of fly around by the seat of our pants and then we do it for everybody else. And all of a sudden, the bills aren't paid. The clothes aren't washed. You're out of shape. You're not taking care of yourself. All these things because you think you're being selfless, but it's truly being selfish. Ooh. And I listened to something earlier, and it's a problem, and this is deep, is that some of us are struggling, and we want control so bad that we choose to be lazy to maintain the control. Oh, man, I'm telling y'all, this is some deep stuff. Some of us are struggling with this. We give half effort. We choose to be lazy. We choose to almost sabotage things to maintain control. We have a control issue, a control problem. And we need to get that addressed. See, that's part of mastering our self-care. We have to deal with this issue that we have, that we must be always in control. And it might be subconscious. It might be in your heart. You have no idea. But eventually it comes to the surface, and that we want to, and see, I didn't know this version of control, but some of us introverts practice this. Well, we don't say anything, we stuff, we internalize, but we're looking for control. And our version of control is being quiet. I know somebody needs to hear this. This is the truth. And we need to deal with that. We need to master our self-care. And again, y'all gonna hear me say it over and over. We need to take advantage. Some of us have great jobs that we need to take advantage of the health care, which includes therapy and counseling. We need to sit down with a therapist and a counselor and process some of these issues that we've been stuffing as introverts, but it's really a form of control. When you're quiet and you're not hyper nonverbal, yeah, that's a form of control. We're control freaks, but we're nice about it. See how nice gets into being a problem. We're too nice. We call ourselves being too nice, but it's really a subtle form, an indirect form of control and manipulation. And we need to check ourselves. Mastering self-care is when we can check ourselves. So you know what? No, I'm doing this for the wrong motive and I need to shut it down. I need to go. I need to stop. We did all that because we are not giving our best, the best version of ourselves. Point number 3, and as I close, coming back to wrap this up, we need to know where we best serve. Then again, see, some of us don't know what I call our life magnet. And the problem is, this is my problem, and I'm going to share. And I have, all of us introverts, I believe all of us have this, where the problem, it's really a problem. It's a problem because we're good at so many different things. We're good at a lot of things. And we're dependable. So when somebody calls us, we're there. We show up. We say what we're going to do, right? But see, this is where it gets to the problems. We keep doing good things for everyone else, but we never step into our greatness. We never step into using our life magnet the best way it's supposed to be used. And then we keep including into our calendar all these good things, but when we look up, there's no space for the great thing that we want to do, the great dream that we have for ourselves, the great passion, the business, the CD, the album, whatever you want to do, the book, whatever it is. We don't have time for it. We don't have time to be great because we're being good for everybody else. That's a problem. But this is, see, when we're really killing it. And as I close, these are my challenge points. I'm going to challenge us. Is that as we wrap this up, we have to create spaces to serve in our calendar, because we put our greatness in, and we've made sure that as we serve in our greatness, it's organized and it's planned, and it's not putting anyone else important to us, including ourselves, at a lack, at a deficit. If you don't have it, don't give it. That is true selflessness. Because when you do that, you do the opposite. When you give what you don't have, that is not the best version of yourself. So I'm going to wrap it up here. So I'm going to challenge us. We are turning the corner for 2020. 2021 is right here. It's right here, weeks away. We have to, number 1, get organized. Number 1, we got to get organized. And number 2, if you're unsure, say no. Somebody asks you something and you're not sure, say no. Say no. I'm not able to do it. If you're not sure, again, see when you're organized, then you can gain clarity. Then you can say no with a smile. But if you're still not sure, say no, because it's better to say no, go get organized, and then come back to them and say, you know what? I do have a time slot available between such and such and such and such a time on this day that I can help. Okay? And then when you organize, you can say, oh, I'm available on Wednesday from 7 to 9. I can help you. Now, if they wait till last minute, see, when you say yes to a last minute request more times than not, and that person is a repeat offender, then you're being nice and you're not being kind. You see, when we're being nice is when we take on everybody else's good request, and we don't give time to our greatness, the thing that we're passionate and excited about and want to do and should prioritize, because then we can give our best version of ourselves to those who ask us because we're organized. Then we mess around and we become bitter and frustrated, but we don't say anything. We smile on the outside, but we're bitter on the inside. I don't know about y'all. It's time to make the permanent shift. This needs to be the old version of ourselves left in 2020. All kind of nonsense and messes are. We already gonna leave, hopefully, a whole lot of mess and drama and nonsense, and hopefully, as soon as possible, leave this virus in 2020. But there's a version of ourselves that we need to leave in the past. There's a version, there's some paradigms, there's some thought patterns, there's some lies, and there's some false beliefs. We're holding on to things that are not helpful to us. We must choose to leave in 2020. It's time. And I'm gonna challenge us, and I got a course that I'm gonna put out between now and before the next webinar. And it's gonna be an intensive. And I'm gonna have more details via the email. So I need you to sign up and make sure you get on the newsletter, Kindness Speaks. Go to kindnessdefined.com and sign up, because I'm gonna send out a course that's gonna propel us into 2020 to help us introverts, to help us that may have us, that may have grown up with a spiritual background, that appreciate spiritual principles, that are willing to apply. This is not for everybody. You might be listening to this. This is not for you. You're not an introvert. You don't struggle with saying no. You might be a good version of yourself, and you already ready to go to the next level as far as the new you, the new version of you, the upgraded version of you. But some of us have been living the same life over and over again, not winning, not succeeding, not walking in our greatness, not being outwardly compliant, but inwardly resentful. We've been doing that too long, and it's time to leave it in the past. And this course that I put together, it's going to be 9 lessons that's going to empower us. And it talks about how we can be clear, kind, but not a jerk. I've made it a course. So I'm challenging us to sign up to be part of this course. And it's going to be a limited number of people. It's not for everybody, because I want those people to be serious. And it will be a paid version. You know what? I don't mind. This is not for everybody. And if you see a $sign and you think, oh, okay, this is not for me, that's your choice. But the challenge is, I don't care if it's my course or whatever, you need to start investing in yourself. And you need to have confidence behind the dollar amount that you pour into you, so you can be the best version of yourself. And 2021's version of you will not recognize, the 2020 version of you won't recognize the 2021 version of you. It won't even recognize. You cross down the street, y'all walk right by each other, because it's time to upgrade. It's time to leave things in the past. And I'm challenging you. But again, this is not for everybody. And I'm perfectly fine with having I'm really looking at maybe 12 people in this course, because it's going to be interactive and we're going to really challenge and grow together. But I promise you, this course is going to be, it's practical, it's spiritual, and it's challenging though. I'm going to challenge us, because we need it, I need it, and I want to grow with us together. So I'm going to end it here. Podcast number 7, True Selflessness. And I appreciate you guys listening, and I would love some feedback. If you have any questions or comments, please send me an email. Let me know what you think about it. Post on, the blog is there on the website, kindnessdefined.com. Post a comment. Let me know what you think about this, because it's time. Because I know who I'm talking to. And if this is you, it's time to get going. It's time to leave that this version of you in 2020. It's time to leave it in the past. As I close, if you haven't, hop on IG. I'm on IG, Kindness Defined, at Kindness Defined. And if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, sign up at kindnessdefined.com. As I close, remember, nice people do finish last, but kind ones rise to the top. Let's go.